I'm Jo Howe. Today I'm meeting Chris James
Hi, morning.
in Stroud. He is going to be doing a lovely painting of, where are we?
I'm not sure which street this is, but
One of the streets in Stroud. And we're going to ask him a couple of questions today so you can find out more about who he is and what he's up to today. So how are you, Chris?
great, thanks. Very good.
Good. What are you doing today?
Well, today I'm doing some sketching, but I'm meeting up. We've met up with the Stroud Artist Cooperative. So we're all out and about in different parts of Stroud Town Centre doing sketching. We're going to meet up on a regular basis somewhere every Sunday morning from now on. And it's just for any artist in the group. So we've got up to 60 artists now in our group who just meet up, go off, have a chat, share our work, perhaps share techniques and have a look at what we're doing. So it's just a bit of outdoor sketching on a Sunday morning, basically, for anybody who wants to turn up.
Lovely. What's happened during the COVID? Because obviously everything was put on hold.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Personally, I found it fine. I did two large projects, and I'm sure a lot of artists did. One was my first major sculpture, and that was out of a fallen tree. So I learned how to use chisels and made my first kind of wood sculpture. So that was the sculpture I did on the first lockdown, and I found it quite good because it enabled me to focus on art. So in that respect, it was quite a good time. And I think a lot of musicians as well found it a good time because you had that kind of space. The second one, opposite my house, it was an old bus shelter, and it was disused. Nobody was using it anymore. So I asked the district council if I could convert it into an art gallery, library, because there's no library around the area, and do a mural for the back wall as well. The Studio 18 in Stroud had previously done up a lot of the bus stops in the way into Stroud. I'm sure you've seen them. They look fantastic. So I really wanted to do something like that and be part of that. So I took on the bus shelter and did all the work for it. A friend of mine had done a wonderful allotment full of flowers just up the road. So that became the theme for the back wall, and then I just converted it all. I wanted to make things out of wood, so I built a library, a solid wood library. A seed sharing facility went in, so people could share seeds in the village.
Lovely.
And I used builders' pallets to build a wall garden for the front. The idea of the wall garden was to inspire people who perhaps haven't got gardens to have a go at putting a wall garden up, because it came from builders' pallets, which you can get either for free or very, very cheaply, particularly if they're damaged and they can't be recycled. So that was the major project, really. That took all the second lockdown. The painting took a couple of months. And then it just opened as a local library, really, for people in the village and surrounding area.
Lovely.
I was amazed how successful it became. I underestimated the need that was out there for a library.
And socialising as well, isn't it?
I think
meeting up as well, isn't it?
That's a really good point. Suddenly people were meeting there and chatting. And at that particular time when we were all in isolation, it became an ideal place for people to meet and chat and discuss and just be there for each other. So it became a focal point in the village.
Lovely.
It increased a sense of pride as well. So I think people suddenly...
And community, isn't it? Because then you felt like you belong, isn't it?
I think so, and it was, there wasn't another village with a library and an art centre like this one's got now. So I think it did instill quite a lot of sense of pride in the village. So yeah, that was the second project, which I think was very worthwhile in the end.
Lovely.
Project 2.
What is your art story then?
My art story, I haven't really got one, to be honest. My granny was a painter, My family weren't really artists. My mum did a bit, but it was mostly my granny. She lived in Wales in a town called Untitled, and she did a lot of paintings on canvas and on plates and sold them around the world. So from a very young age, I was painting, and I used to copy her work, and but that was really early on. And then I started obviously doing my own thing, and it's been I think for most artists, they start very, very early. And they never ever stop. I think if anyone has got a skill in art, never give up, always just keep doing it. It's a lifetime
Loads of people
skill.
giving up mine.
I know,
Loads of people do.
I hear that, and I think that's such a shame, because it's not.
It is.
I know you can study it and you can go to school, university, but it's also something you can do forever. It's a lifetime activity. It's brilliant for the mind, So I think. So I did that. I entered an art competition when I was very young, and I won that back in Swansea, where I used to live. I did my art O level very early. I did it when I was about 13, which wasn't the best, because after that point, the schools I went to then, I couldn't do art because I'd already sort of done my O level. So it wasn't easy then. There was no studying art at school from that point.
You're back to college now, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, what I didn't realise, and I wish in a sense, my parents had been into art, because really I didn't need to be doing it at school. I could have just been getting on with it and studying life, but I just didn't have that input. So a good mentor. They were talking a lot about mentors at the moment. And I think that's so important. If you can mentor up with someone who has some experience.
Yeah, I met quite few quite good mentors around. Yeah, was one of the ladies in Tewkesbury, somewhere. She's mentoring quite a lot of people, and that helps a lot when you're starting. Yeah.
Yes, gives you some clear advice about what you're doing and how, and someone to be critical of what you're doing as well. It's all very well saying, "Oh, that's a lovely drawing" every time. You really want someone to say, "Have you thought about doing this?"
If you show to your family, they're always gonna say it's amazing, won't they?
That's right. Yeah.
So, is your family supporting?
Well, my dad quite likes my stuff. He's getting on now. I don't hear too much from him, but he likes some of the work I do. And my wife is an English literature teacher, so she hasn't retired yet. So she's still, but she's keen. She likes the work as well. But I don't really need support, to be honest. So whilst she's supportive, which is great, I don't have to have that to keep going. I've got so much self-motivation. I don't really need it.
So you said to me before that you actually were very serious about painting, but when actually it started again?
Well, I've just retired from teaching. So it has really, last December I retired fully from teaching. I was part-time for a while, so it started to really take over then. And with the retirement, I've been able to now do this full-time. So this is now something I do every day, 7 days a week, almost every day throughout the entire year.
So why do you think art is important?
Well, the doing of art is fantastic for the brain. You go into a zone just as you would with sport or music, and in that zone you free up your mind. Your mind is only focused, a little bit like meditation, on what you're doing. You have to concentrate on it. So for me it's great for the brain, and you're solving problems. We're in Stroud today. We're at an interesting angle here, looking up the hill at some cars and buildings, and you're solving problems. You have to work out the perspective. You're thinking about your colour, then you're thinking about the ultimate things to try and do something original, and trying to do something original, something that's perhaps a little bit more in depth, makes the viewer think a bit more. That's a real challenge. I think once you've mastered sketching and basically interpreting what you see in a reasonable manner, then comes in your own personality and your thoughts and experiences, but also the need to try and do something that's a bit different, and that's the tricky bit, I think.
Yeah.
Being original is very hard.
Yes, it is. Have you got any events coming up?
Yeah, I've got doing the art in the park over in Cheltenham. I like the sound of that because I can stick my stuff up on the fence for sale.
Do you remember the dates?
Yeah, it's the 19th of September that week. I'm there for a week, but I'm literally going to be there painting for a week. So whilst my stuff is on the park wall, I can paint the park. which is so it's two things at once really. So that's why I'm attracted to that event. I'll be out in the open and I can actually do some live painting and sketching, so people walking past the exhibition will also see an artist at work. So I'm looking forward to that. We've just done 2 fairs with the cooperative and they've been amazingly successful. I think the last one in the park at Bank Gardens in Stroud, for me, the second half of that day when the sun came out,
it turned into festival, didn't it?
It turned into like a mini festival. So next year we can see a lot more artists in there and an even more festive event with maybe some music, some poetry being read out, some interesting events and little classes and demonstrations. I like the demonstrations, the artists like yourself. There are about 3 or 4 artists doing demonstrations where people come along and have a go. I thought that was brilliant. So certainly more of that. And it gives artists in Stroud an opportunity to sell or to show their work. They don't have to go to a gallery. They may be starting off or not want the expense of hiring a gallery for a week. And it means that they can have a table in a fair for £10 and they can show their work or sell their work. It's entirely up to them. Demonstrate. So I thought they were great events. We were lucky with the weather. But I think,
today.
and the sun's come out now as well. Lovely. So I think those 2 fairs we held this summer were fantastic, and we're definitely going to do those again next year. So popular, and if we can just raise the marketing aspect, try and get more people to realise they're on. I think they'll be
involved the local media.
Yes, local media, brilliant.
Who's your favourite artist at the moment?
At the moment, oh blimey, I've got lots. A lot of the sculptors are really good. Anthony Gormley, really like his work, but also morning. So loads of painters. I'm still really fond of the German expressionist period with Kafka and those great painters. I like their style. I like the way they worked, and an expression they put into their work as well. So that whole era of particularly painting with oils, I like. But in terms of sculpture, I couldn't tell you the names of some of the ceramic sculptors I've been looking at, but their work has been fantastic. So I'm studying ceramic sculpture at Stroud College at the moment. Loving that, it's brilliant. So yeah, it's loads of artists, always learning from other artists.
Fantastic. What advice would you give yourself when you were starting out?
Yeah, if I was to start again, I think I probably would definitely have wanted a mentor, someone who knew a lot about art, someone who my art teacher at school was brilliant, a guy called Cliff King. He was fantastic. He was definitely the inspiration to do painting and drawing and be involved in the arts, even though I had a granny who was a very good painter. But my granny and Cliff, I think those are the 2 inspirations. So I think if any young person, or anyone, don't have to be young, is starting off in the arts, just to have someone who knows a lot about art, or who's perhaps been successful with exhibitions, who's maybe done a lot of training, who has that brain. I've got a friend who's a builder, was a builder, and his ideas are brilliant. Fantastic ideas. He's got a great brain for creativity and abstract thinking, and I listen to him and I pick ideas off him, even though he's not really doing much art. His brain is brilliant. Listening to the way he thinks and his ideas he comes up with. So having someone like that in your camp, fantastic. I guess it's just like sports, a lot of individual athletes will have a team. And that team can really work together.
It's good to have a people which inspires you around, isn't it?
And gives you ideas, pushes you, and says, have you tried this, have you tried that? I think those questions are really important. If you're just doing it on your own, I think you could get bogged down a bit. And it's good to break out, to try different things. I like David Bowie, I like Picasso. I like the artists who stop everything and reinvent themselves completely, or reinvent what they're doing and just change it. I think that takes huge courage, and I think it also means that you're going to be more creative. Ultimately, you're going to be producing stuff. You look back and think, yeah, it's all varied. It's not all the same. I haven't stuck to what I know I can do.
So I know we can find you on the website Chris James Art.
Yeah.
But tell us more about the Enigmatics.
The Enigmatics, that's
Because
just...
that's very enigmatic.
Yeah, it's a nice name. There's a rock band in North America called the Enigmatics.
Okay.
But they've split up.
All right.
Because I had a chat with them and they said, no, you can use the name, it's okay. The idea was to pull a group of people together that wanted to do something different. So I tend to do a lot of painting and drawing. Now I'm doing some sculpture. Brian, who's a potter, he wants to do some sculpture and he's doing some painting. So we're all kind of diversifying in what we do. We had a topic. The topic for our last exhibition was the Stroud Canal. I'm not sure what our next topic's going to be. I think it's going to be something like really broad, like transformation or something.
So it's based in Stroud?
It is, yes.
Oh, nice.
And we had an exhibition last December, which went very well. That was at the Subrooms. So we are going to have another exhibition next year and work along a theme together, produce different things. So it's really just a group of people that come together now and again.
And how did you met?
Oh, we varied. Some people from work. So Brian used to work at the same college as me, but another is a friend. Ricky's a friend. And some of the others are then just picked up from meetings. So they're not just from work or friendships.
It looks like you've got a charisma of getting people together, are you? There's Enigmatics, there's Stroud Artist Cooperative coming up now.
Yeah, the cooperative's been really interesting. That began as just an idea to do a fair. But so many people are interested in it, in taking part. That's really grown because of that. So I think the cooperative is fascinating, and that there's almost 60 members already in 1 year. That could double. There's so many artists in Stroud. Just about everyone's an artist really here. So I think that it wasn't so much me. I think that just having that fair is like a honey pot. It's pulled in loads and loads of people who have interests. And then today, I thought just 1 or 2 people would turn up today to go sketching in Stroud. Well, we got about 10 people have turned up. That's one of the biggest turnouts I've ever seen for a Sunday morning sketch. So there's a demand there for artists to get together.
Yes,
there's a need.
Networking, yeah.
Yeah, there's a need there, and it's the social side as much as the time to do the art.
Yeah.
Because we can all find time to go out on our own, but it's then to meet up and chat, etc. So yeah.
Great, thank you ever so much. So
no problem.
We met up with Chris James today in Stroud during his lovely time painting on the street today, in the air. And if you want to find out more about him, I'm gonna attach the links to his website as well, so you can find him easily. And if you want to hear some more, I'm hoping to record more videos with our artists in Stroud. And see you soon. Thank you, bye.